IOI starts in 2 days. Actually, the practice round, stuff like that, something introductory already starts now. What do we have here? Largest valued odd. We're looking for non-empty substring. It needs to be odd, so needs to end with an odd character. So will it be just prefix ending with the last odd digit? Do I get this right? Out of the number we need to choose substring. It needs to end with an odd digit. It needs to be as large as possible. So going backwards, let's find the first encountered odd digit, so it will be rightmost in total. I'm not copy-pasting the link now because I will be done in 1 minute, so whatever, I guess. If this is odd digit, we need to get everything from 0 to I. That's called substring, right? Think like this. And we return an empty string if we didn't find anything odd. N is length of that string. Hi, algebra. Output expected. Okay, worked here. Alright, easy enough. Need to move to something serious now. What's, by the way, IOI schedule? I think I already know what it is. Mostly. Today is Sunday, so they have virtual tours of Singapore. That's quite a loss, you know, to advance to IOI, so also you should win this amazing trip to a faraway country. Most likely at that age it's like one of, or maybe just the biggest trip you ever got, and then it's cancelled because of COVID. There was practice session yesterday, nothing is happening today. Optional practice session, conference, and on Tuesday there will be real day. COVID sucks indeed. I considered some stuff, but I very late realized that IOI is happening like in a few days. Maybe I will do an unofficial live stream during some part of the contest. Just to imagine grabbing a beer with your friends to watch something and to cheer for your colleagues, just maybe without a beer, something like that. So this is on Tuesday, and it starts at noon for me, because Singapore is 6 hours ahead. That's noon until 5 p.m. So earlier than my usual streams, much earlier. Well, if I plan something in particular, it will appear here in the calendar. Right. Really eager to how much time it will take you to solve today's LeetCode contest problem. Is it that hard? This thing? Given two binary matrices with zeros and ones. Island is something that is connected. So one represents land. Island is considered a sub-island. Okay. So this red one here on the right, it's like part of the one here on the left. So for every island in the right, we need to check if it is also land in the left drawing, and that's it, right? I don't even care how islands look like in the left. Not the contest problem. What, is there an ongoing contest? Is this the current daily problem? How is it called? Day 20 of what? This thing? Yeah, that's not the same problem. This is from today's contest, so false alarm. Like, nothing is wrong about solving this problem, right? Advent of code instead of LeetCode? But advent of code happened many months ago. Around that time, yeah, I should solve some of the problems. Is there something wrong about my solution here? If we want on the right to find islands that are part of islands on the left, then for every island in the right, I need to check if the corresponding cells on the left are land. And doesn't matter if, yeah, and then it will for sure be the same island as well. Well, we can implement that. Here's the problem. I'm in the link. I'm arranging the stream a little bit. Maybe better now. We got a few new followers. Thank you, everybody. What do we do here? BFS or DFS? Chat, tell me. How do you want this solved? Or maybe find an union. So let's DSU. DSU is find an union. What do you want to see? LeetCode, bro. Is there something wrong about LeetCode? BFS or DSU? Okay, free DSU. Then let's use DSU. Usually people do it with parents and ranks. I don't do it like that. Maybe even we can create a struct for that, so to really make it very black boxish, not dependent on the actual problem. That being said, I would use BFS or DFS in this problem. So what is it? Let's create a struct indeed. There will be init, and or maybe that should be constructor of the class. Init. what it does, let's say it creates nodes from 0 to n minus 1, or objects from 0 to n minus 1. I will do something here. And then there is union. Union is a keyword, so just uni of two nodes, and it will kind of put an edge between them. In my DSU, everybody knows what kind of group they belong to, and for every group we know its members. For example, if members of group number 2 are 5, 6, 10, then you will also know that group of 5 is 2, group of 6 is 2, and group of 10 is 2. So 5, 6, 2, those are nodes or people, some kind of objects, and this is just ID of their group. They have the same ID of the group, so they are in the same group. Right now 5, 6, and 10 are connected. Then what's the init? Everybody gets their own group. And members of I is just I. So right now group 5 is just node 5. What's the union? We need to merge two vectors. First, if the groups are the same, then we continue or return. They are already connected, otherwise we need to merge the two groups. For simplicity, let's do this. Those are already now group IDs, and for everybody in group of B, let's say, or members, sorry, members in group with ID B, members of A pushback X. Mainly that's it. One more thing, group of X is A. So element X now gets from group A to group B. Here's a drawing. Similar to an agency matrix? No, not really. The type is the same, but this is about something else. I'm out. LeetCode seems silly to me. Alright. Do you mean easy? I understand easy, but I don't know what else there can be. So in my DSU, ignore the keyboard. I don't know how to make it disappear. If there is a group, let's say group with ID 2, and there are guys 7, 8, and 9, and there is group with ID 6, and there are guys 6, 1, and 15, and you want to merge them, then what you need to do is 6, 1, and 5, they need to now get here. So you do members of 2, pushback 6, pushback 1, pushback 15, and for each of them you assign your group is 2. Right? This is what we do. After that we empty the group that we iterated from. This is now, every such union is linear because we get one group to the other one, and it's for some, let's say, complicated reason faster if you always do smaller to larger. So you check which of the two groups have smaller size. Here we swap. If A was smaller group, and then I swap A with B, so now for sure B is smaller group. And then I iterate over the smaller group, and I move it to the bigger one. We have our struct. Then what do we do here? Well, we create DSU, we initialize it with size h times w. This is size of the grid, the number of nodes in our graph. It's not on YouTube, it is on YouTube. Yeah, it is on YouTube. Increase font of LeetCode editor, good call, I've done it now. Hi Mundus. Alright, do that. And then iterate over all the cells of the grid. If in this right drawing this is land, then it in some way should activate in DSU. But also there are edges to neighbors. So if row +1 is still inside the grid and that neighbor of yours is also land, then we unify a pair row column with pair row +1 column. Those two nodes should be connected. But what actually should happen is the node ID of that should be unified, so every cell should get its own ID. I will create a helper function for that. Unify two cells. That will run DSU uni of row times w plus col. I think that's a proper hash of a cell. And I should create a function for that. Get hash. This will be vary from 0 to h times w minus 1. And then here get hash and get hash. I need to get IDs of those two neighboring cells. Right. Similarly, if your right neighbor is inside the grid and if it's land, then there is a connection as well. Done. Do you think this is easy problem? It's quite standard. So medium, you don't see it. It's marked medium, and I think it's accurate. There is some coding you need to do. Still, I claim that DFS would be easier, shorter, but it's not a difficult problem. It's not that you need to think a lot. The main thing is to find islands, and that's very, very standard. Right. And what do we do at the end? For every island on the right, we need to check if it's also part of the land on the left. How do we do it? I will iterate over cell ID, actually group ID. If this is not empty, and also this cell should contain land, because some of them they contain, oh I know, we can do this, else this u dot members of this dot clear, so we erase here groups of cells that contain water. Also here row color that this, so without brackets, otherwise it wouldn't compile. If not empty, and this is enough because it means it's for sure land. Then we have an island on the right. We need to check if it's all land on the left. 61st line, I guess it's now this line. Yeah, we are using DSU. What are those you write below header file? If you're asking about this, it's another struct or another class. Do some easy DP. Oh, watch my DP lectures on YouTube. Which did you use to learn dynamic programming? I guess I understood dynamic programming without learning from particular source, but if you want to learn, I recommend my lectures on YouTube. Alright, we iterate for every cell, let's say X, in members ID. So there is cell X. We need to check if this cell is also land on the left in the first grid. But this X is ID of a cell. I need to get row and column. I think I can get it like this. That's the reverse of my hashing function. If it's land in the first one, then it's good. If not, then all land is false. What do we need to return? If we wanted to count islands, then now answer plus plus would be enough, but I think we need to return all of them. No, count. So what we count is called sub-islands. Resource called brain. Good understanding of math for sure. Line 27. Semicolon after struct declaration. Grid doesn't exist. Oh, we need to grid 1. My answer is 5. Did I just count all the islands? Yes, I did. I ignore all land. I indeed counted all the islands, not just those that exist as well on the left. Free. Accepted. Let's see on the drawing what's going on here. If this is the input, I grab the right grid, and what do I do with that? For now we ignore the left one. We look to the right, and for every pair of consecutive lands we say there is an edge between them. So we merge those to be in the same group using DSU, also called find and union. So there will be those edges, also edges here, and so on. Right, for every 2 consecutive cells with a 1. Now in this kind of graph, every connected component is an island. So every group we found is an island. Now I iterate over all those islands. If I just counted them, I would get 5. But instead, For each of them, I iterate over corresponding cells in the left grid, and I see if those are land as well, because that was the requirement from the statement. This software is OneNote. This keyboard is just some annoying Windows keyboard that recently started popping out, and I don't know how to turn it off. Yeah, we solve for the right, and then once we get islands on the right, we use the left grid as well. We check if it's land as well. So we check this condition. They literally told us to count islands. Yeah, we need to count islands in grid 2 that are also part of something, some land in grid 1. They told us that we need to be part of island on the left, but actually it doesn't matter how big it is, so we don't really need to find islands. What is that hash function? I wanted something so that every cell would be represented as a number. So I could number nodes, because that's very convenient for something like BFS or TSU. Let's say that our grid is like this, 2 by 4. So one way to number cells is to say that this is row 0, this is row 1, column 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So you can say, oh, this is cell row 0, column 1. But what I wanted is numbering. 0, 1, maybe in a different color. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So hash function is supposed to just give me number of a cell, unique ID. How do we get this 5 or this 4? Well, everything in the next row is just previous row plus 4, where 4 is W. So this is here 2, so this is 2 plus W, the width of the full grid. 6 is 2 plus W. Right? And in general, if we are in row R and column C, because every row gives you plus W to ID, you have this formula, plus C. If you move to the right by 1, you increase column by 1, so ID will increase by 1. If you move down by 1, row will increase, so this product will increase by plus W. Could you show your editor? For LeetCode, I just use this editor. Why do you keep few comments ready? I think only for which channel you're asking about templates. But I didn't use any templates here. Do I think every greedy problem always involves sorting? No, for sure not. Sometimes we do something from left to right without any sorting. Oh, I know I can disable keyboard. The thing is in settings. The thing is it didn't work. And I tried multiple ways to do it. So I tried basic stuff. Now the next thing to try is just to remove some registries. So just, I don't know, remove the exec file. I already tried renaming exec file responsible for that keyboard. Yeah. So renaming is basically deleting, but less crazy. Right. This is done. Let's do 1 or 2 more problems. Not a lot more because it's just too hot today. I don't want to stream for a long time during Kickstart. You can Google Codeforces templates and you will find plenty of those. Don't use mine. Mine are very bad. Like here. People use templates in competitive programming. Right, got accepted. Let's move on. I don't need to close this. Later I will put links in YouTube video. Oh, if you don't know, so I'm talking to Twitch now. You can go there and all the recordings of past streams are right there. Which problem do we do next? I see that the most recent contest apparently didn't have a hard problem, only mediums. Minimum absolute difference queries. I can try to guess what we need to compute. The query will most likely be about interval, subrange of a sequence, but then if they ask about minimum absolute difference between arbitrary two elements there, it's very hard. I can do it with divide and conquer offline. So maybe about something easier. If it's just difference between neighboring elements, adjacent elements, positions I and I plus 1, then we can use a segment tree. I'm curious what's the statement about. Minimum difference between some two values. It was that first version. Oh, numbers are up to 100. I see. If numbers were up to 100,000, then I said this is a hard problem. Just open the problem. Come on, it's sometimes fun to guess. LeetCode problems, they often don't have complicated ideas or statements. Not ideas for a solution, ideas for a problem. Just because it shouldn't be convoluted. The simpler it is, the better, just as long as it isn't very well known. So often you can guess from the title. I didn't see constraints, but I knew it wouldn't be just n up to 1000 or anything like that. Otherwise there would be no queries. Queries mean that n is big, because otherwise they would just give you one sequence. Not very hard with increased bounds. Well, with small bounds, what will happen is there is a sequence, right? There is a query about something, let's say this part, and I need to know what are two closest elements here, closest to each other. Because there are numbers only up to 100, for each number from 1 to 100, I can check if this number exists in this interval. And I will do it with prefix sum. With prefix sum I can count every type in an interval. Because for every number from 1 to 100 I will do prefix sum over the whole thing. I could also just list occurrences without prefix sum, or list occurrences of a number of one value. Then binary search to answer a query. Like if you know that value let's say 5 occurs in positions 2, 4, 10, 11, 15, 16, 20, 25 and so on, and then somebody asks you what are values in interval from 7 to 50, you can binary search if there is something here. Right. Then, oh, not even count, but because we need to just check if it exists in this interval. Then, for every number, we get information whether it exists in this interval or not. I can keep a Boolean array of size 100. I think we can do it also without this extra Boolean array, but whatever. Like this would for sure, for now, mean that there is number 1 in this interval, there is also, or in this range, there is number 4, those are not present, and so on. Do I want to explain ahocratic but optimized? No, I don't want to do that. I suck at string algorithms. In particular, I don't know ahocratic. I know some of it. For sure not enough to explain it. So don't ask me about non-easy string algorithms. We can do the version with positions, with listing positions. That's maybe what they wanted. As preprocessing, for every value from 1 to 100, I want to know its occurrences. Now, for everything in the full sequence, I'm looking at value nums of I, and I'm saving its position here. Then there are queries. Are they 0 based or 1 based? 0 based, right? Then here the goal is for every number from 1 to 100, check with binary search if there is something in this range. If one of positions of number x is in this range. Also, occurrences is a very long word. Oh, that's fine. Helper variable taken by reference. We get this vector of occurrences. And I will need a lower bound in this thing. Let's find the first value at least equal to low. Making space so you would see what I'm typing. If this is still inside and doesn't exceed high, then this number is here. So this is true, otherwise it's false. We can compare x versus previous. So the smallest gap is minimized with x minus previous. Previous is the previous x I found. By default gap is, let's say, infinity. Also, we don't do this if we didn't find anything yet. That should do it. But that's of course not enough to solve it for bigger constraints. Values up to 1 billion. I can think about it, but for now I don't see how to do it. Accepted. Not a very good time, but prefix sums would be better. Here we have number of queries times 100 times logarithm for lower bound. It's not really the best. With prefix sums, or like for every number find the next occurrence starting from some position, we could avoid this logarithm. This is not really the best solution. Am I watching Eurocup? No, I'm not a fan of football or soccer. Now the question is, what if nums of I is up to 10 to 9th power? Should we binary search the answer? For every number, let's see. If there is a 10, there is a 6, and there is a 4, let's say 5. They don't need to be consecutive. Let's say it's like this. 27 and 5. We don't need to check pair 25 because there is something in between. So for every number in our range, we just want the next bigger number in this range. What lower bound does? Later you need to just read this C++ reference lower bound. You Google stuff like that, you will know functions in C++. But lower bound, it finds the first occurrence of number at least equal to this or bigger, and it returns iterator for that. So it's binary search. There is a sorted sequence, then you can find the first number of value at least 100. That's lower bound of 100. I could, instead of using STL function lower bound, I could use my own binary search. I would need to implement it, of course. What about square root complexity? I don't know either, to be honest. And I don't want to spend here more than a minute thinking about it, because that's not the point of today's stream. So what is the solution for bigger values? Ankur and Gupta, you can tell me. Most popular sport in Polish? It's football. Square root times log with Mo? Oh, I see. I see. Alright, I understand how to do it with Mo. Modus operandi was that. I don't know how to use segment tree, but I understand how to use a Mo, keep things in a set, and then also another set or multi-set for the differences between adjacent values, adjacent in terms of sorted sequence. But I also believe there is a solution without square root, so just not that slow, because this square root times logarithm with Mo's algorithm, it will be very slow. So yeah, I will move on. I don't want to think that much. Alright, chat, suggestions for the next problem? And is this something I didn't give you a link for? Yeah, I did. So it was this link. It's a bit too late for that, but here you go. Can I explain this one? No, I will not explain something from AdCoder. Somebody earlier suggested me a problem from about DP. What was that? Small DP code if you find trick. If I find a trick. Do we want this? Seems to be a game for 2 players, and we are already spoiled that it's DP. Oh, IOI coding suggested again now. Am I doing easy one? I prefer to stick to medium problems. Let's say that this is mostly what you should expect from my streams. Medium and hard, not easy. I already solved it? Oh, yeah, I did. That's funny. I didn't even notice. Here we go. If you want a solution, go to a stream. Okay, it was... I wanted to check here, how long ago was it? Was it half a year ago? 3 years ago? No, it was less than a month ago, 23rd of May. So go to a stream from that date, 23rd of May, and you will find the solution. Let's do something else. Largest divisible subset. Given a set of distinct positive integers, we need to find a subset such that for any two numbers, one is divisible by another. Sure, let's at least talk about it. This time I will give you a few minutes to try to solve it. Okay, so you have 5 minutes to think about this. We're given a set, 1000 numbers. 1000 numbers, and numbers are big, up to 2 billion. No repetitions allowed. And numbers 5, 15, 20, 17, 2, and 5, 5, 5. If it's like this, then you can choose, for example, 20 and 2, because in this subset one number is divisor of another. You cannot choose 5, 50, and 20, because 20 and 15, they are bad. It's not that one is divisible by another. So for every pair in our subset, it needs to be true that the smaller one is divisor of the bigger one. And here, I think the best we can do is this, as long as 5, 5, 5 is divisible by 15. But I think it is. It is divisible for sure by 5, and sum of digits means that it's also divisible by 3. So it's divisible by 15. This is good. That's the answer. For this input. I will rewrite limits. This means twice 10 to 9th power. This problem was once in a division free contest in Code Forces. Yeah, sure, it's a fine Code Forces problem. I wouldn't ask it in an interview. Would I? I wouldn't, I think. Or maybe. Having a fast compiling and testing setup will help with rating? No, it's a detail. It's like, would you play football better if you had the best shoes in the world? Maybe a little bit, but it's not a difference between being a pro and not being one. So, complicated bash scripts makefiles are overrated. They are. They give you the power to quickly stress test something though. That's useful, and you should get that skill. But I'm sure you can get read by using only Notepad. That would be an interesting challenge. Maybe I will do that. But I don't like... So many people use fake accounts for various reasons. And I always hated that. I was the biggest opponent of creating fake accounts. But it would be so funny to get rid with like strange limitations, like typing in Notepad. Red speedrun. Garen calling Notepad setup OP. Does he use only Notepad? Newbie to Red with Google Doc. Yeah. Tips on DP. Practice DP. Watch my DP lectures. No indentation. Off topic, people say 3 numbers and the host size if the sequence. Okay, I can do that. iWatch coding, remind me later when I'm finishing the stream. I will do it. Please code. Yeah, time to solve the problem. Somebody earlier posted something about the solution. Quote if squad. Sort and then build up the answer starting from starting numbers. You only have to check pairs. Yep. So quote, you got it at least partially right, I think. Indeed, we should first sort. So here, this sequence from my example would become, after sorting, 2, 5, 15, 17, 20, 5, 5, 5. And now, if after 5 I take 15, I should forget about 5 already, because if something will be divisible by 15, it's also divisible by 5. So it's kind of a jump from 5 to 15. We can imagine that we are a frog, and we keep making jumps now, starting from any number, always going to the right, but only to a multiple. Like from 5 we can jump to 15, from 15 we can jump to 5, 5, 5. The problem asks what's the biggest number of jumps we can make. And that's similar to a lot of AdCoder DP problems. There is our CSES, where we jump from such sequence, then transitions are just, we iterate through that. And state is dp of I. To get here, how many jumps at most you made. For 15 it will be 2, not number of jumps, number of visited numbers, let's say, including this one. dp of this position should be 2. Yeah. Some quick code then. I prefer to use A instead of nums. By default, let's say every dp value is 1, because we can take this number and finish there. Oh, I forgot to sort. Sorted. If a of j divisible by a of I, like we consider a jump from 15 to, let's 20, and that's forbidden because 20 not divisible by 15. This, then from dp of I we can move to dp of j and we get one more jump. So dp of j should be maximized with this. Like if up to I we could make 5 jumps, then here we can make 6 jumps up to j. We don't return dp of n minus 1 because that's the maximum sequence including the last element, but we don't care about including the last element, we just care about the most number of jumps, that's it. The biggest number will not necessarily be the vector. Oh, I need to find a vector. Well, I see two possibilities here. One is that I can actually, for every position, remember that best set. Am I late for IOI stuff? I didn't cover anything about IOI today. But regarding IOI, maybe some stream discussion prediction stream on Monday, and maybe, I don't know which of the two, or maybe both. What's the second thing? Maybe some unofficial live commentary on Tuesday of the first day of IOI. I will do one of those two, or both. How to solve for larger n? I don't know, n is small, so I'm solving for small n. But what about this set? Well, yeah, one thing is, for every position, instead of int, I could here keep the list. This list will be of only logarithmic size, because if every time you go to your multiple, your size increases twice, so the number of times you will jump, it will be at most logarithm in total. Diameter of DAG? Yes, it is. This code computes diameter of DAG. We already know the sort of this DAG. Okay, and there is another trick where you can find maximum and then move backwards. Let's do that other one. The first element will be max sequence length, and the second element will be what's the previous position. If now dp of I plus 1 is greater, comma I. So second element of a pair says from where we jumped here. So in J we know, oh, we jumped from I. Then we need to find the max element. If dp of I greater than best, no. Let's call it max length. This we find where this longest sequence ends, and then we need to move backwards. Last position. I don't need to put anything there. This is a general technique in DP. Its purpose is to retrieve a sequence. Once you went through something, you got the optimal score, but you also want to know for what subsequence or for what path this score appears. For every DP value, you also need to know what's the previous state from which you came here. I need to output numbers, so that's A of last position. Last position dot second, yes, second. I can do dp as before. Yes, but it would be harder to understand. I think during a contest I would do this with one line. right? Accepted. If n was bigger, then maybe we should do something with factorization. If we, for every number, can quickly iterate its divisors, then those are candidates and those are the only edges. So, yeah, we can... What I did is O of n square, and instead we can do it in O of n times factorize, where this is time needed to get all divisors of a number. And in particular, for sure, it's possible in this complexity. Square root of limit of a number, like 2 in 9. There are some constraints where this is faster. And we can factorize faster too, but it's hard. Right? We can factorize too faster, I think. A little bit. Yeah, we can. But not by a lot. Now, normally I would go on for some time, but it's hot, so I don't want to stream for a lot of time and just be uncomfortable. As I said, tomorrow or in 2 days maybe I will do something related to IOI. I will today visit my Discord server to discuss with you about it. So, here. And somebody suggested to me, iWatch Coding suggested this video about noticing something. You hear the sound, let me know if it should be louder or
I'm going to give you guys 3 numbers, a 3-number sequence, and I have a rule in mind that these 3 numbers obey. And I want you to try to figure out what that rule is. But the way that you...
and is the sound okay? Now I will make a guess that yes depends on what he does with, let's say, his hand, or just a specific word he says. Like, it will not depend on the numbers.
Can get information is by proposing your own set of 3 numbers, to which I will say yes, that follows my rule, or no, it doesn't follow my rule, and then you can propose what you think the rule is. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here are the 3 numbers: 2, 4, 8.
2, 4, 8.
You don't need to continue the sequence. You can propose a totally different sequence, whatever you want to propose, and I will simply say yes or no. That follows my rule.
2, 4, 8. 16, 32.
16, 32, and
64.
those also follow my rule.
Okay.
What's the rule? What do you think?
Multiply by 2.
That is not my rule.
Okay. Should I... so now I should guess something other than powers of 2? Ready? I don't know. To be honest, I didn't fully understand the rules of the game. So I thought that we will ask him multiple queries. Are these 3 numbers okay? Are these 3 numbers okay? And then we would guess what triples of numbers are good. But apparently not. Should we continue the sequence? Yeah, I have no idea what other rule it can be. Well, of course, there are many possibilities. If it's 2, 4, 8, then it can be 2, 4, 8, 14, like, you know, a quadratic sequence. Think about cognitive bias.
What?
That's not my rule. But you're allowed, if you want, propose 3 other numbers.
3, 6, 12.
3, 6, 12.
3, 6, 12 follows my rule.
10, 20, 40.
10, 20, 40.
That follows the rule.
Yeah, I'm still multiplying by 2.
I know. I know what you're doing. And yes, it follows my rule, but no, it's not my rule.
It follows my rule, but am I allowed to scroll? Yes, it follows my rule, but no, it's not my rule. Oh, I thought it's just some like word game. He just is saying that this triple is good, but the rule is not about powers of 2. I mean, multiplying by 2.
But no, it's not my rule.
5, 10,
10 and 20.
Follows my rule.
100.
2.
Oh, so the link to the video? Oh, yeah. The point is just that the rule can be much simpler. Is that it?
Follows my rule.
500, 1,000, 2,000.
Follows my rule.
Want me to keep going?
Do I just keep going? You can tell me the rule.
Okay, but if you wanted me to guess it, then it would need to be
Am I doing it
interactive.
the wrong way? Am I approaching this the wrong way?
You're totally fine,
Okay.
but you're approaching it the way most people approach it. Like, think strategically about this. You want information.
Yeah.
I have information. The point of the 3 numbers, right, is to allow you to figure out what the rule is.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to
Okay, but then what's the fun for me if I cannot
give
ask
you
questions?
numbers that I don't
I'm
think
just
fits the sequence and see what
watching
you say.
people who cannot
So
do
I'll
it.
say 2, 4, 7.
Fits my rule.
So whatever I propose is
Okay.
right.
So is your rule like you can propose any number? So the rule is anything we say is yes.
No.
Damn.
Okay, then I understood his rules correctly at the beginning, but what am I supposed to do here watching the video? I understand why they kept multiplying by 2. He already said it's not the rule. To be honest, he shows different sets of people, so I'm not sure if there was somebody who was told that the rule isn't about multiplying numbers by 2, and they kept going like that. Ascending order, yeah, whatever. So it's not
Actually, get to the rule. Of thought. The theory was
it's
that all
not
swans were white.
a good
Theory-
video for me to watch. It wasn't interesting because it was not interactive. If you can make an app or a program that lets you interact like this, then sure. But every serious puzzle solver will ask about something like other powers of 2, but then they will try other things. So, whatever. No upvote from me. Multiplying by 2 is not my rule. Yeah, I think he didn't say it. It's not that he said it to every person interviewed and then they kept going like that. Or was it the case? Yeah, this was too normie for me. So. Right. So this is it for today. If somebody's streaming coding interviews, then I will rate them. And that's it for today. Interviewing devs. Well, that's not a coding interview. Devs.
Who's
That's not.
competent in said group would be in charge of those team. And I would go around checking what was the issue in one team and if they required something else from another team. Pretty much trying to help out as much as possible to try and reduce the chaos.
There were some overlappings, of course. Some coders were also in design group, so there has been a bit of generalist role for those who need.
Well, this is not something I would rate. I would watch, but it's the closest we have here to coding interviews. So here you go. You can say hi from me, and I'm going to chill. See you on Monday or Tuesday doing some IOI stuff. Bye.